Let's roll. Hello, hello. Welcome. We are going to be going into the highs and lows of emotions. And this is probably one of my favorite topics because there's so much power in the understanding of this. So I'm going to start the conversation off and really dive into sort of the background of stress and anxiety. We're going into the holiday season. Guys, it's, unless you kind of just don't hang out with any family on the holidays, I'm sure there's some level of stress for you on the holidays. So just being work or travel or whatever it be. So we're just going to dive into it and kind of get a background. And then Melissa and Megan are going to share more about some of the essential oils that you can use to help with some of this. And then I'll take it back over from there. So let's dive in. We're going to talk about the stress cycle, how stress affects our bodies, anxiety, and actually how it works within our bodies. And then we'll dive a little bit into essential oils, healthy habits that can help you, the when, what, and how of using essential oils for stress. And then also we're going to talk about how you can get them in your home, whether you're a current customer or you are brand new. Stacy saying, we asked before we hit record, like, what do you guys want to get out of it? And she's saying anxiety and some depression now that my kids have all moved out. Oh, I can't imagine. I don't want to think about it. My daughter's 6 months. I got tons of time. Okay, let's talk about stress. 75 to 90% of all doctor's visits are related to conditions caused by stress. Stress is a necessary part of our lives. However, the degree of stress we encounter in modern society has reached epidemic proportions. Stress is just considered normal. Stress is nothing more than a socially acceptable form of mental illness. We really need to get a grip on our stress and start to find ways to manage it and not have it be something that's just acceptable. So let's talk about the stress cycle. What is stress? Stress is the body's reaction to a harmful situation. So we have a stressor, then we have a reaction to that stress, and then that causes wear and tear on the body and organ systems. It reduces our optimal health. It increases sensitivity to stress, and then we get exposed to another stressor. And then we go around and around and around the hamster wheel, right? So the more stresses we are exposed to, the more we have a reaction to stress, the more wear and tear we have on the body, the more it affects our overall health, and the more sensitive we are. So we go ba-doop. So what happens when we're stressed? We go into fight, flight, or freeze. Our heart rate increases, our breath quickens, our muscles tighten, our blood pressure rises. And when we maintain a state of stress, this becomes our normal. They try to give us blood pressure medications or heart medications and things to adjust this, but really it's our stress. So continual stress can cause burnout of our systems that are designed to manage stress. So like our adrenals, and this can lead to multiple health concerns. So some signs of chronic stress: you have a suppressed immune system, you're getting sick all the time, slow metabolism, you can't burn fat, you can't lose weight, slow cell regeneration, so you heal from injuries slowly, airway restrictions, muscle tension, weight gain, heart disease, depression, difficulty sleeping, addictive behaviors. Also, you have diabetes, hypertension, arthritis, osteoporosis, impaired cognitive function, reduced creativity, impaired memory, impaired problem solving, headaches, sexual dysfunction, irritability. So can anybody relate to any of those? Raise your hand or give me a yes in the chat if you're like, yeah, some of those sound like me, right? Yeah, it's kind of crazy when we are looking at these and we're like, oh, I just think these are all normal. And really, it's like, no, you're just overwhelmed, right? You're just stressed. You're just functioning in a constant state of stress. So what happens is we have a stressful day, and then who can relate to this? We don't eat as well. I'm stressed, I'm running late, so I'm going to get some fast food, or I'm going to make something super simple. Then our stomachs hurt, so we sleep bad. Then we wake up the next day and we don't exercise. And then we have another stressful day. And then we go around and around till we're like, enough is enough. And then we are on track for like a week or two, and then life piles up again and we go back around this hamster wheel. You guys relate to that? Yeah, I think it's pretty common for people, right? But if we're aware, yeah, Mo says getting stuck in the cycle is way too easy. It totally is. And it's socially acceptable. right? That's the other thing we have to remember. Our society has taught us that this is just the name of the game, right? So we get to shift that. We get to change that. And when we become aware of the cycle, then we can do things differently. We can say, okay, I know I'm stressed. I know it would be easier to stop and get something fast, but I know what this is going to do to me. So I'm going to make the conscious decision that I'm not going to, and I'm going to go home and make food. And I'm not going to get caught in this cycle, right? So we have the two sides of the autonomic nervous system, our parasympathetic nervous system, which is housed in the very top and the very bottom of our spine. And then the sympathetic nervous system, which is housed throughout the center of our spine. The parasympathetic nervous system is where we should be hanging out most of the time. This is our rest and digest. This is where our body function optimally. A lot of people are like, oh, I suffer with digestive issues. I have irritable bowel syndrome. I have chronic constipation. I have all these things. No, you're just sitting in fight or flight and your digestive system isn't functioning properly. So you can take all the medications you want, but if you don't address this balance, nothing else is going to matter, right? So we want to spend more time in this parasympathetic nervous system. We'll talk a little bit about how to do that. And then we want to spend a little less time in the tiger is chasing the sympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system is our fight, flight, or freeze. It causes high cortisol levels, which again causes weight gain, inability to lose weight, acne, fatigue, irritability, high blood pressure, headaches, poor immune function. So what happens is the body triggers through a series of interactions the release of epinephrine, norepinephrine, and cortisol, the release of everything you need to run away from that tiger that's theoretically chasing you, when really it's just your to-do list and your never-ending expectations on yourself or society's expectations on you. So now that we have an understanding of stress, let's talk about anxiety. Anxiety is the body's natural response to stress. So this is why it's important to understand stress so that we can understand anxiety. Feelings of fear or apprehension are really what anxiety is, and it affects 40 million adults. That should say 81% of the population, and I never remember to change that. But anyway, so let's talk about different types of anxiety. There's episodic, which is you are triggered by something. So you have a chemical response, which causes physiological changes, and then you come back to a state of balance. So you get in an argument, your body releases those chemicals like we talked about here, right? And then from there, you get the physiological changes, which is what we were looking at with the sympathetic chart, the heart rate increases, things like that. And then you get over the argument, you settle yourself down, you come back to balance, and you don't go around this cycle again until you get triggered again. Now, there are people and times and situations in which we have a physiological imbalance, which means there is no trigger. Your body, most likely because it's maintained such a high level of stress, or even more likely, you grew up in a situation that was extremely unsafe or stressful, and your body got used to this cycle. And then you loop into this chemical response, which causes a physical change, and then you go back to balance. But there's not necessarily a trigger. You could just be fine and not fine because your brain's like, whoop, and it just goes, right? So sometimes we have both. Sometimes we're only on the episodic side. My guess is that no one's ever going to be just on the physiological side, but somebody might have both of these, right? So just something to be aware of when we talk about the anxiety cycle. I think I forgot to put page numbers on this, so that's cool. Habits. Let's talk about habits. New habit formation can vary widely depending on the person, the behavior, and the circumstances. It can take between 18 to 254 days to form a new habit, with the average being 66 days. Habit formation is not all or nothing. So if we, change our diet and we're doing really good, and then one day we don't eat well, it doesn't mean we ruined everything and we should stop. It just means we didn't do well that one day, right? 80-20 rule is so important when we're talking about this. So things that we can think about for incorporating a new habit: pick one habit, start small, get accountability, have a way to measure your progress, resolve to persist, and pick a reward. Oh, good. I can see the slide number down here. That's great. So let's talk about healthy habits to decrease stress and anxiety. And through there, we're going to add some we're going to add some essential oils. So we'll talk about breathing, gratitude, movement, and clarity on our time boundaries. So I'm going to pass it over to Megan, and Megan is going to dive into the olfactory system. And I'm going to run and fill up my water really quick while Megan starts talking.
All right. Hello, everyone. So let me see. When you smell something, the aromatic compounds stimulate cells in the olfactory membrane, which sends signals through the olfactory bulb, which is part of the limbic system of the brain. The amygdala processes emotion, and I'm so going to butcher a lot of these words. The hippocampus is responsible for associative learning. Through conditioned responses, your brain learns to associate smells with feelings. It's no wonder aromatic substances are so good at bringing back memories. Walking by a bakery and smelling a cookie and thinking of making cookies with your family at Christmas time when you were a kid. Things like that. So where can we put oils for anxiety? The temples, behind the ears, over the heart, on the wrists, and on the ankles are great places. One of the habits you can start taking, and I probably should have done this today, according to the American Institute of Stress, the #1 stress reducer is to breathe. So for this, you can put drops either in your hands and breathe, rub them together and breathe. You can also place these on those points that we just mentioned. So you'll have the breathe, balance, adaptive, and lavender.
We'll pass that off to Melissa. But quick before we pass that off, I just want to ask, like, has anybody tried that 4x4x4x4 breath before? Yep. Melissa says yes. No? It's really a very simple thing that you can do. And people are like, well, I don't have time to do a breathing exercise, or when would I do it? And this is always the answer I give people, and it's just really silly. We all go to the bathroom. Instead of just sitting there and maybe scrolling on your phone. I'm not judging. Guilty. Just close your eyes and breathe. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Just do it while you go to the bathroom. If you breathe like that every day, every time you go to the bathroom, imagine what would happen to your stress hormones, right? Because we're all going to go to the bathroom a handful of times each day. So just something to think about. Okay, I'm going to pass it on.
A lot of people call it square breathing. So like if you think of like you're breathing for 4 and then holding and then 4, like it's that square breathing. So if you need a visual, that's how we use it with a lot of our friends that need visuals. Okay, so habit number 2, gratitude, something I probably need to practice a little bit more along with the breathing. Probably gonna need to practice all these, but I had to look this up because this is a very fancy little cone over here, and I learned that it's the Hawkins vibration scale, right? Or the scale of, so when you're trying to get to that higher level of joy and happiness and feeling, you know, not down and upset or angry, you want to get to the higher part of that. And so when we're trying to get to gratitude, you look up there at the top, that enlightenment obviously is over 700 hertz. So that vibration level is pretty high. I know people talk about going to sound baths, which I love. I know Jen does sound bowls. And it really does for many people. I know for myself, when you have those different frequencies around you, it can bring on those different calming feelings, effects, relaxation. You know, at my work, they joke when they came to ask for like Advil in our classroom, and the other teacher said, well, did Mel give you a sound bath? Because she knew I wasn't going to have any of that, right? Like I was going to like throw an oil at her or something. So, but if you look at this, you look at the higher part and you look at like love and joy and peace, they're 500 to 600. And I believe that on our notes, it says that gratitude is approximately 528 hertz. So, you know, we're trying to get up there and help like tap into that, right? And so some of the oils you can use are rose, obviously the queen of oils, amazing oil, geranium, which is kind of that sister oil. I have that. It's a little bit more affordable. Wild orange, copaiba, harvest spice, and Huga, even though I want to say the Y so bad, it's not pronounced that way. Huga, don't know who made that word up, but and I also kind of researched a little bit, and it, you know, it says like 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, for at least 6 weeks can enhance that mental wellness if you're practicing gratitude. Even if you're just doing it like 5 minutes a day, right? Like just taking 5 minutes, writing a couple things you're grateful for down. You're doing, you know, doing gratitude before a meal, even like simple things like that, that will help you kind of have that higher experience. And you can put those oils that we're talking about on here on the crown of your head as you're tapping into that. I know that normally we're saying breathe in and put it other places, heart, but like crown of your head is like where it's a good place if you're going to try to ground and tap into that. So just looking at those oils to use, those would be really great to tap into. And continuing on with gratitude, some other ones that will help shift you to that higher frequency, and track better things is wild orange and copaiba. Wild orange is super affordable. I love it. I've actually been diffusing it with some more clove and cassia like oils for like the fall vibes in my house. But I put wild orange with many things. So it's very uplifting. It's the oil of abundance. It fosters creativity. It supports positive mood. It's one of the ones that is very much around for many things about if you want a great positive or relieve anxiety or you need uplifting vibes, right? It's a great oil to tap into. Probably why I like it, because it can tap into that inner child. I work with young ones. I don't want to grow up. So, you know, I love wild orange. Fun, joyful, plainness. Copaiba helps break free of those emotions. So if you're pairing those together, that's really good. It can, you know, get rid of feelings of shame, guilt, regret, unworthiness. It helps resolve pain from hidden spots in our hearts, mind, body, offers assistance to those caught in lower vibrations of emotions of shame or blame or self-loathing. So pairing these together is really, really good too. Diffuse them, breathe them in, put them over your heart right before you practice gratitude. You know, that would be really good to add into that practice when you're doing that. Again, just 5 minutes a day. Guilty. I that's one of my cycles. I get in and then out and in and then out of doing this. And clearly I notice a difference when I'm doing it. So these are good reminders for me as well. And then the other habit we're going to jump into is, I think, move. Yes. So this is the one I'm really trying to switch up my routine and get back on my move routine. I know I move a lot daily with the kids, but like actively moving for myself, you know, getting that motivation, right? So peppermint is definitely a really uplifting, you know, breathing in peppermint can help boost that motivation. Putting on the back of your neck can give you that like energetic, like awake, I'm ready. A lot of people even pair wild orange and peppermint together for that motivation uplifting together. That's one that I combo all the time. We even have a roller bottle called Motivate that kind of has those in there. So I have that around a lot when I need a little extra motivation to start moving and grooving. Deep Blue, just used this morning because I just had long days of travel of sitting on airplanes squished. Even in the, you know, big extra aisle seat or the exit seat, still was squished. And so Deep Blue definitely on my lower back. Is very helpful for sore joints, muscles, anything holding you back. I like doing it before and even after workouts, just because sometimes doing it before, like as I work out, I feel like that heat or that cooling or that almost just like helping relieve some of the tension even as I'm working out. So, and then afterwards, it's almost like it's full effect. So just some tips that I do when I use it. And then to continue on with moving, or do we skip that one? Yeah. So exercise again can help boost your feelings of good hormones in our bodies. And I know the whole cycle of people saying like, if you exercise more, you'll have more energy, but you have to have energy to exercise, right? So again, we're stressed out, you know, we've done an intense workout, we feel really good for a bit, and then we crash further after, right? Because we're trying to go too hard, too fast, I think, and that's my problem, right? So maybe start slower. It's okay to move, like just try low impact, like walking, gentle swim, yoga. And that's really honestly where I've kind of been. Like, I try to feel like I have to schedule to get to a gym to do these workouts I like, but sometimes it's just like, then it's taking that time away, right? And so, you know, you just want to make sure that do something, right? And that's kind of where I'm at. Even if you're just doing like active stretching and things of that nature, like that's going to help too. And just things to keep in mind, keep your heart rate between 120 and 140. I think almost many people have some type of heart rate monitor at this point. Not everybody, but a lot of people do on their watch or whatever. 2-3 days a week. And again, that's where I'm at. Like first you think you're have to go all in, but just start small, 2-3 days, 15 to 30 minutes. And then, you know, just get to the edge of breaking a sweat. High interval training can make symptoms worse. So again, just be careful about that. And I see Nico actually wrote that Hygge is amazing for anxiety and trauma. Great. That's wonderful. I diffuse that a lot with other things because it's such a calming, low, like it's not a very intense smell. It's a very like light scent, but it pairs really well with some of the other ones I'll put in the diffuser. So thanks for sharing that. So again, yeah, don't like try to beat yourself up like me and go hard. Just start small because we crash when we do that. And then try to end the session with a meditation or breathing to turn back, you know, on your parasympathetic nervous system. I really try to at least do some stretching, foam rolling, and like long holds, you know, after the workout. So taking some deep breaths and just trying to like calm myself down. So again, just trying to like get yourself back. Don't like go to workout and then run right into something else, because then your body is just kind of staying at that heightened state. So it's a good note to mention. And I think I'm passing it on to Jen for habit number 4.
Yes. So last habit, time boundaries, especially going into the holidays. Pause before you say yes to things. Say something like, that sounds like a great opportunity. Let me think about it and get back to you. It can be really easy in the holidays to feel like we need to like make everybody else happy, but sometimes it's at our cost. So am I saying this yes to this for myself or for someone else? Is this an opportunity I've been looking for? When I look at my schedule, and how do I think adding it is going to make me feel, right? So we really want to be clear. It's so simple to be like, I want to see everybody around the holidays, and then at the end of it, we're sick, we're exhausted, we didn't get to lower our stress levels, we don't feel, you know, fulfilled. So just remembering that. I'm a big time boundaries person. If you know me, you know I have no problem saying no, sometimes to a fault. So it's so important, especially in our busy seasons of life, to just like take a step back and know what you can put on your plate, because feeling like we aren't accomplishing enough is like one of the worst feelings. And when we have unrealistic expectations of ourselves, we're kind of always setting ourselves up for failure there. So just something to remember. Okay. Yeah, Stacey says took me a long time to learn that one. So I don't even know how I did that. So mark your calendars, November 14th at 5 p.m. We are going to have a fun call. We're going to be sharing our favorite holiday make and take ideas. So we're going to tell you how to take the oils that you have and make some really cool products. Maybe you want to make some friends gifts. Maybe you want to make yourself some gifts. Some of the things we'll talk about are sugar scrubs, bath soaks, room sprays, different roller blends. It's going to be awesome. So make sure you mark your calendar for that one. And then if you guys are current customers, actually anyone can, so if you're current customers, if you place a 125-point loyalty order by the end of the day on the 15th, you get a free balsam fir. I keep thinking I already placed my order this month, and I haven't. And I like keep saying like, oh my God, I need to place my order. And then I'm like, no, you already did. No, I haven't. And I need to remember to do it. So I get my free balsam fir. Just sometimes I totally blink on it. So it's on my to-do list. I was supposed to do it today, but I'll do it tomorrow. So Make sure you get your free balsam fir. Guaiac wood is 10% off. So what is guaiac wood? If you guys have ever heard of like sage and Palo Santo, you burn sage and then you burn Palo Santo. Sage expels the negative energy. Palo Santo brings in the good energy. Guaiac wood is a very similar wood to Palo Santo. Actually, most Palo Santo that you get is actually guaiac wood, and they just label it Palo Santo because that's the common name for it. But Palo Santo is actually a really endangered wood that we shouldn't be using. So guaiac wood has all those same benefits, and it's got this smoky, earthy, beautiful scent. So it's 10% off. Also this month, when you place any 200 PV order, whether you're a brand new customer, current customer, it's an LRP order, it's a one-time order, you're going to get adaptive bath oil and adaptive oil for free. The Huga oil and mist diffuser. This is like a Glade plug-in sort of thing, but for oils. These are awesome. They're about 25% left in stock. So if you want one, you're definitely going to want to grab one. And then also, if you want to get all the new products in one shabam, you can get the convention kit now. So just some of the specials. And if you guys are brand new to doTERRA, there's 3 ways you can buy doTERRA. Retail, we're not even talking about it because that's full price. Wholesale, by, going ahead and making your own collection, and then using one of the enrollment kits to just get a pre-selected option. So these are some of the most popular selected options. The Natural Solutions Kit, I like to call this the Home Makeover Kit. This one's $450. The Home Essentials Kit is the top 10 essential oils in a 15 milliliter size, so 250 drops or servings with the Le Luz diffuser. This is a glass top diffuser. The collection is just 270. And then the Healthy Start Kit is the top 10 oils in the 5 milliliter size, so 85 drops or servings with the Pebble diffuser. And this one is just $160. So whenever you get started with our team, you get wholesale pricing for a year. You can get a private consult. Stacy, we actually have to set that up for you. I have to, if I don't message you about it, message me about it. I know I emailed you about it, but anyway, welcome guide with our recipes, ongoing education and support, loyalty, rewards, and free oils, customer service, and more. We always say who you buy your oils from is just as important as where. And if you stick around, if you like natural products, like helping others, and want to learn about earning more money or replacing your income, feel free to stay around. We're going to hop into our short business section here for the night. But yeah, what questions do you guys have about stress, about anxiety, about using your oils to help with any of the above? What do you got? I'm going to stop the recording.